us about how did you establish such an amazing, platform of great talent and just.
Yeah. So when I started with Africa Bambaataa in 1981, it was a revolution to me, seeing what this could be, the thing that became called hip hop later. And I saw this and I go, wow, this is insane. And it's either going to be gigantic or it's going to be nothing, so let's try this. And I said, Bam, do you want to make a record that sounds like what you're playing here at the T Connection in the White Plains Road in the Bronx? And he said yes, and that was the beginning of Tommy Boy, So we went and we started doing that, and at the time we were already doing a new music seminar, and I was doing a newsletter for DJs called Dance Music Report. So I was reaching out to that DJ community. I'd already had a connection there, so I was already looking at the world from the viewpoint of DJs. So that made it possible for me to see what the possibility was, because DJ culture was in the early stages I started that in '78, so that, when, hip hop was disco at the beginning.
Yeah.
And everyone was proud of it.
So you came before the Blondie record?
Oh yeah. We wrote about it in Dance Music Report.
Okay.
Heart of Glass.
Okay, I got you. All right.
You're not talking about Rapture, you're talking about Heart of Glass, the Blondie.
Heart of Glass first, yeah.
So did you know that while you was dreaming that amazing dream, that a little kid was going to Record Explosion every other day to buy a Tommy Boy album, 12-inch, of whatever they put out, no matter what it was a 12-inch that stood on the top with three little blue guys dancing on the label.
Yeah, the logo
whatever
was
it
classic,
was,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
That was understood where that logo came from.
That was 3 years later.
Yeah.
But I can tell you why the logo is blue. I mean, we wanted to do it because, it was one of the pillars of hip hop with breaking and stuff. So, we wanted to show the action, and dancing was a big part of it. So, that was the genesis. And the guy used press type images from an architectural, Letraset was the company that made this stuff. You used to rub it off, and the letters would go down. Before computers and stuff, you had to buy typeset sheets and you could do rub off stuff, and these were 3 characters that they used in architectural drawings and stuff. And he put them around that way, and then he found the logo, and we found the typeface and did the capital Y's and stuff like that and created it. And then we had it redone again by Eric Hayes later on, who was doing the Def Jam logo and some of the other stuff.
So after Bambaataa came home.
Yes. So, but the point was that when you have a vision for something that doesn't exist, it's really exciting. It's harder to invent in hip hop now because everything already exists. So, I have had this vision that I think that there's a great opportunity for people to create music a different way. The way the people who've been sampling since the beginning had to, do what they did to get away with it, and had to deal with clearances, which was a nightmare, and getting said no to, and not being able to create the way you want to create. And I always thought there should be a legal way where people could create without having to ask, or to make it super easy. And finally technology got to the point where I thought that was possible, and I found these guys in Sweden who were developing something that was on the way to being this, and we worked together to direct it in this way and create a whole derivative marketplace for people to use original music and make new music with it, which is pretty much what hip hop was. Some people would say the 5th pillar of hip hop is sampling,
right?
Because where would hip hop be without sampling? I don't know if there would be hip hop without.
It wouldn't be that, no.
I mean, if you took out every hip hop record that had samples in it, there wouldn't be much left.
Right, it would be nothing.
Publishing samples, really, when you think about it.
The beat pattern, I want to know. I always wanted to know this. The beat pattern for Planet Rock. Did you guys catch everybody that caught that sequence?
No, we can't sue anybody for that. We got sued for it.
Boom, cat, boom, cat.
Yeah, well, so first of all, you have to understand that was the first 808 record ever. That was we used a Fairlight synthesizer. We used, multiple polyphonic orchestra hits that you couldn't do any other way except with the polyphonic, or where each note was a whole orchestra hitting. Wah! And everyone was using that. We did so many things that nobody had done before. So always ask the question, what could we do that nobody ever did before? To me, it's always surprising that so many people want to copy other people, when it's, to me, so much more interesting to see what everyone's doing and do the opposite or do something totally different.
What was crazy was that beat pattern ruled Miami, and it also was the monument of most people's success. So, and then I'd heard at a time that Bambaataa or you were coming at everybody who rocked that boom, cat boom, cat boom.
Never.
Boom, boom,
Right.
boom.
But
I heard
but
about
how
that.
did you get sued?
We never did.
How did you get sued? You made it up.
We got a letter from Kraftwerk in sometime.
Oh, crap.
Oh, numbers.
Okay,
For numbers.
Yeah,
Huh?
Right.
so that's sort of the genesis of where that beat came from, right?
Wow, I never.
But in 1980, Bam and I went into the studio in an 8-track studio and cut a demo for what would become Planet Rock, and it had we replayed because nobody really sampled and mostly people were replaying, and we replayed 4 or 5 things. It was Babe Ruth the Mexican. It was
Yes,
it
you
was
did.
it was Numbers in Trans Europe Express. It was Rick James. It was BT Express. I Like It. The bass line. So those were like and we put them all together in like an 8-track demo where a guy played them all on Oberheim synthesizer. We went to a studio called In the Red in Mamaroneck, New York, in Westchester.
So you said play the bass line from I Like It. You
Figured
said
out a
play
way to put it all together and let's make it into one thing. And so that was the concept, to put that all together. And then I played the demo for Arthur Baker, and he went nuts, and he said, "Look, can I produce it?" And I said, "Yeah, let's do it."
How much money does Arthur Baker have right now?
I don't know. I think he's okay. I think he's okay. He's living in Florida. He was living.
This is another whole thing. This is Rock asks for this. This is let's talk about Tracklib. This is another whole documentary.
Don't forget he had a label that he owned a piece of the signed New Edition.
Oh,
Streetwise.
but you know what? I feel like it still has a little bit like it's parallel to Tracklib, because to find out about this amazing sample that kind of like started hip hop.
Yeah.
What's crazy about that is that me and Eric was talking earlier about how trap is now this amazing tempo and patternized flow of technique of sample sound, and we were speaking on how that rhythm has now kind of coexisted with now the trap thing. And you hear
It's the same sounds though. You're right about the
you hear
808.
kind of Planet Rock in this new trap zone.
It's the same
that's going
drums
on.
that was out when they started.
If
Well,
you go back
yeah.
to the beginning and you look at where everybody got their influence from, when you boil it down from that song, everybody seemed
Also
to take
Detroit
3
techno.
different things.
Yeah.
And we all just kind of ran with it.
Because even when I heard Bombs Over Baghdad, I was like, yo, that's, you
It's
know,
a better version.
It's
It's a better version. You're right.
It's at the heart of what they
Right,
do.
you're right.
Lyricism is at the heart of the East Coast,
You're right.
and the flow is at the heart of the West Coast.
There was one before that, though. I give credit to Rapper's Delight. Actually, Good Times I give credit to.
Yeah.
Because Good Times really was the basis of, so many hit records.
I totally agree. But I feel like the doom, it had its moment. But Planet Rock just, you guys
we use
just
instruments nobody
found
ever
an
uses.
oyster.
Everybody
There's
uses 808
cultures
out.
around Planet Rock.
Yeah, that's-
all of
the
it.
whole culture's around.
The whole shit
Yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah.
But the other thing that was crazy about it was everybody was making records that were 115 or slower, and that was 129, and nobody was going that fast. And so we had the B-side that was instrumental. So that's really one of the things that helped it go, because at the time dance music was predominantly white and gay,
Yeah.
and white and straight. And they liked faster music, especially gay was like Euro disco was like 129, 130. So they played the instrumental in those clubs. So it got played in every kind of club. And so, together it made it even bigger than it would have been if it was just, it was just the urban phenomenon. It wasn't just urban. The
Wow,
B-side
that's
was instrumental because
That's so-
radio did not play rap at that time. The other thing people don't understand is that, for the first 2 or 3 years, radio wouldn't play rap. There was only like 4 stations in the country that would play it, and then they only played it at night. And then they had a limit of 1 or 2. We were just talking. I was over at Sirius XM today, and we were talking about because LL they're changing Backspin to Rock the Bells. They're changing the name. So I was talking about I Need Love, which was like that ballad and.
No, Lindrum, fucking 808.
I know. You listen to
the
it now,
whole Rick Rubin era was.
It's
Again,
such
it
an
was
annoying
808.
record. I mean, it's just, it doesn't really hold up. I didn't think that record, but when you listen to it today, you realize that the only reason that record like that broke was because black radio that didn't play hip hop could play that record during the day.
Right.
And that broke the door open for LL to get through to daytime radio, because at the time you couldn't get on daytime radio with hip hop. So people don't know today the history.
I never knew that.
There's so much politics. I mean, I used to go to radio stations and people used to, and they would play the Force MDs for me, but some of them wouldn't play because they knew it was on my label and they assumed that it was a rap record because of the name.
I forgot Tommy had Force and D's too. You're right. Can't fuck with you. Listen, who want to ask questions?